7:14 on this December 1. I want to remind you that the downtown merchants, through the Square Cares program, will support Gamma House during their combined open house this Friday and Saturday, December 4th and 5th. All you have to do is simply purchase a complete a downtown dash card for $10, and you could win one of 7 $100 gift certificates from the merchants on the downtown area. All proceeds go to Gamma House. Cards are now available at Gregory Jewelers, Merle Norman Cosmetics, Mark's Fine Clothing, Lad & Lassie, Mountain Home Floral, Nature's Way, and Rita's Avon. Support Gamma House this Christmas, won't you? How's that?
That's good. A good cause.
You bet. Yeah, they do a great job at Gamma House. And the downtown merchants. I love downtown Mountain Home.
Yes.
Yeah. I love downtown Cotter and Norfolk and, just nice little communities.
Well, it used to be where it was at.
Yeah.
I can remember that. We were getting on up there.
Saturday morning on the square. That was the place to be,
Yeah. I had a request recently, a few months ago from the Spit and Whittle Cubs that we need another bench on the courthouse lot. I said, it was interesting. But, that's where it was at. And hopefully it still can be. And if we can get some more down there, we have some good merchants down there around the courthouse.
Yeah, really do.
But,
yeah. We've got, of course, let's see if we can name them, Gregory Jewelers. You have the Sherry Group, Yellow House, Mark's Fine. I know I'm going to miss somebody. Mark's Fine Clothing, Old Time Restaurant. Who else do we have down
here? The Music Store.
The Music Store, Square One.
Square One, yes.
Isn't there an abstract company in there?
Yeah, on the corner, and they own the building on both corners there, Alley Abstract, and then the Florist.
Of course, Nature's Way.
And then the county offices.
And then
Nature's Way is there's going to be another business going there where the pizza place was. They're working on that now, and so there should be something coming in there very soon.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
And you still have, when the weather permits, farmers market.
Wednesdays and Saturdays, and a few of them still coming this time of year because of the holidays that's coming up. They still like to come offer the products that people are looking for that they have on Wednesday mornings and Saturday mornings if the weather permits. They had a big art show down there.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't found out because of the weather that one of the funeral homes had provided for them a tent, and they were going to have the art show last Saturday and in conjunction with the farmers market and the downtown merchants. And with the chamber, they had put a banner up and were trying to attract people down there. And I haven't got a report, but hopefully it worked for them, even though the weather was kind of sour.
Yeah, literally. Anyway, shall we open Pandora's box first so we can talk about this and move on?
I just have to say it's a beautiful day. We are catching up on our moisture as if the summer didn't catch up, but we've had some dry spot. But it is the first day of the last month, and what happened to this year?
Zip.
It's gone, and we've been booging along here through 2015. Wake up, and Mom's birthday's next weekend, and
1 month from today is 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
that's correct. Another year starts, and you just think, what happened to all of it? It's been an interesting year.
I did a little research on the judge that ruled against the nativity. He was appointed by Barack Obama.
Yes.
And went right through Congress. I think the Senate was, they were 100 to 0 in confirming him in the Western District. Isn't that the same position that Asa Hutchinson had, 35?
No, he was district attorney. He wasn't judge.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But if
in the same district.
In the same district.
Yes.
But didn't I hear right that the judge said that it violated the First Amendment?
Well, I just happen to have his judge.
You just happen to have.
The judgment is 2-page, and it's been publicized. It's actually on some websites. But the opinion is 17 pages. But he judged... Oh, let's see where it says it.
But you just said a magic word. Opinion.
Yes, that is
not
correct.
Law, opinion.
And we all have the right. He is the sitting judge, and we be respectful of that no matter who appointed him. As I said in my press release on Wednesday, as an executive official, I understand the process, and elections have consequences, and judgeships are one of them. And when the current president nominated Judge Brooks and hundreds and maybe thousands of other judges across the country, he expects judges to think like he does and be of the same mindset. And that is the privilege of an executive branch.
Sure.
It is the legislature's responsibility in this case to oversee that and to support it or not support it. And in most cases, they support it. They hang them out once in a while, but they end up supporting them in the long run. But that's why the presidential office is so important, because they have this power. I make appointments to boards. The governor makes appointments to boards and positions. Yep. And so the people that sit in those positions, I once served the Republican Party in the 1st District of Arkansas from 04 or 05 and 06 as a member of a committee called the Appointee and Recommendations Committee for the governor. And you'd be shocked to find that there's nearly 400 boards that the governor has the privilege to appoint members to. And it was my responsibility to look through the 1st District to fill positions and try to find people from our area and from our district to sit on some of these boards. That's just in the state of Arkansas.
Wow.
Then you have all the Eastern District, the Western District, then you have the appeals courts and all the federal judges that come and go because of age or other circumstances, and the president has that power. So so we be respectful of the office and of his appointment. We can certainly disagree with his opinion.
So when the judge makes who was I talking to the other day? We were talking about this. He has an opinion and makes a judgment.
Correct.
But that didn't become law.
Well, it is his opinion of what the law is until it's overturned or until there's a higher power says, no, you're not correct.
So here's what it says. Congress, not the county judge or not the governor, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people to peacefully assemble and to petition the government for redress of grievances. How's the nativity scene fall under that?
Well, the First Amendment is the freedom to worship and the freedom from religion, the freedom, and it is basically stating that the government shall not promote a religion, and they take this when you have the mindset of those who file the lawsuit and those who, as such as Judge Brooks, when you think of that, you interpret that to mean that if you have anything to do with a religion, you either must include them all. And the interesting part about this is he not only included them all, he included those that were not.
Well, see, that Winter Solstice stuff to me is a cult.
Well,
that's
and
not
he
a religion,
covered
that's
that.
A cult.
He covered that in his judgment that we would either refrain from placing any religious, sectarian, seasonal display or create a public forum on the courthouse grounds for a seasonal display open to the persons of all faith as well as of no faith. Now, I don't see that in the First Amendment.
I don't either.
What the First Amendment is about is the freedom, and what the people that settled in this country are for was the freedom to worship as they pleased.
And if you don't,
that right still exists, no matter what's on the courthouse lawn or what's on the church house lawn, or what's on my personal lawn, which is a lot of leaves. But we'll have a lot of oak trees. But that doesn't place. So when did those of no faith of all get involved in this? Because how
can you have something to put out there when you believe in nothing?
And it's what concerned me most that I addressed in my press release was in his opinion.
Exactly. His opinion. And so he made a judgment on his opinion that removed our nativity scene, but it's not law.
Well, what you find in rulings like this, and I've been thinking about this some, is judges look at precedent of cases, recent and past history. And they do more to determine from what their decision should be when they cherry pick or pick the nearest one to this case, and they decide based upon what recent court decisions have happened. The Lynch versus Donnelly case was a kingpin, or a large part, was 1984, decided by the Supreme Court, and according to that and other state and federal court decisions, including the Eighth Circuit at St. Louis, we thought we had done and addressed everything that the courts had addressed that needed to be done to keep the scene there, and which the plaintiff that sued in this case made light of and made fun of, even called it words like a sham, and he discussed that in his opinion. But They instead of referring back to what does the Constitution say, he refers to back what did other courts say, and that's happening all across the country. Since 1973 in the Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
There have been some terrible Supreme Court decisions and federal court decisions in the history of this country. Most of them have been corrected. But since 1973, you've seen this movement, and it got even worse in the late 80s, 90s, and into the current last 20 years. But so they refer to what other courts have said instead of doing their own work and saying, what does the Constitution say?
Interesting.
And a lot of those, when you read these opinions, and it's not just this one, it's a lot of them, and it's not just this jurisdiction. It's most of them, if not all of them. That's what they refer to. Well, he basically stated that Lynch versus Donnelly has changed in the years since it happens. The Constitution, especially the First Amendment, has not changed.
No.
It says the same now as it said in 1984 as it said in 1789. So that's
and an
my
establishment
opinion.
of religion would mean that the United States has one set church, perhaps the Catholic Church, the Methodist Church, the Baptist, but
Correct.
we can't do that.
And that's what was happening when the Pilgrims came in 1620.
Yeah, because
They
the King
were
of
getting
England
out
said, "You're
from
gonna do
under
it this way."
They were getting out from under the oversight and the authoritarian command of the Church of England.
Right.
That was very clear. You see it in the Magna Carta. You see it in all their agreements. You see it in their writings. That's what they were after, and so that's what the forefathers. You know what amazes me is about it, the more you read that Constitution and the early writings of those forefathers, how was those guys so intelligent? The wisdom they put into that document is beyond comprehension by most people, and we want to change that. But they were wisdom way beyond their years and the time in history.
If I'm not mistaken, let me pull this up. In the Declaration of Independence, does it not recognize Christianity?
It recognizes our Creator.
Creator.
Yes.
What other so-called religion other than Christianity has anything to do about creation? Buddhist, Hindu, Vishnu, Muhammad, all those other so-called religions, in their, what they would be their holy books, do they even talk about creation? I say no. The only one does is Scripture, the Holy Bible. If that's the case, then right here where it says, we're endowed with certain rights by our Creator. What do you think?
Well, the opposition likes to say it doesn't mention God in the Constitution. You need to go look at the lives of all 50-something signers of that. 3/4 of them were ministers. It's in their life's history, in their biography.
They used to have church services at the federal capitol.
They were not established in religion why the God is absent, but they gave rights that come strictly right out of what they understood the truth to be from all documents, including the Bible. And that's a very clear indication, and it's a stretch to say that it wasn't. Because if you look at the writings and they say, well, Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin were agnostics, go read some of their writings and tell me again how agnostic they are. They reference God in a lot of their writings and give credence to their Creator, because they understood that what we have around us didn't happen by accident.
That's right.
It's too complicated. Man cannot duplicate it. As much as they think they are, as much as they think they can control the climate. That's why I say those who believe in all this climate change garbage used to be global warming, but now we're going into a deep freeze, so it's a climate change. You have to be an atheist. You have to be a non-believer in God to believe in climate change, because you think man can control this climate. There's a power there that's more in control. We have no control. Do we take care of it? Absolutely. Do we do what we can to protect what God has given us? Absolutely. But it's going to happen on His watch how He sees fit and the things that He has set in motion, what we call nature. But they all referenced that in their early writings, and they were all very acknowledgeable that there was a Creator.
Final 30 seconds, your thought of the repercussions about the nativity, with all the businesses going to be putting up nativities on the lawns.
There will be none. That's one thing good that has come out of this is waking up maybe the community as to what's happening in the federal court systems, and it has kind of glued the community together and put them together to get a common cause to go after, and I think that's a good thing, and I encourage that, and appreciate those who are taking leadership roles in that. And
thank you, Chris.
And those that will do that, I think it will help the community in the long run.
That brings us up to news time. More with the county judge right after the news break. We'll be right back. $7:35 on this December 1st. I want to remind you about the downtown merchants. Once again, through the Square Cares program, will support Gamma House during their combined open house Fridays. Ribbit, that frog keeps jumping. Let me start over. Downtown merchants, don't laugh over there. The downtown merchants through the Square Cares program is supporting Gamma House during their combined open house on Friday and Saturday, December 4th and 5th. Simply purchase and complete a Downtown Dash card for $10, and you could win one of 7 $100 gift certificates from participating merchants. All proceeds will go to Gamma House. Cards available now at Gregory Jewelers, Merle Norman, Mark's Fine Clothing, Lad & Lassie, Mountain Floral, Nature's Way, and Rita's Avon. Support Gamma House this Christmas, won't you? Come on down to the downtown square.
Yeah, and don't forget, as soon as the weather clears out, and I think it's going to start today.
The sun just came out.
Yeah, the Christmas tree will be up on the yard. We're already putting the one up inside the courthouse. And there's going to be a parade Friday afternoon. 5:30 it starts, sponsored by the Mountain Home Chamber of Commerce. They will be judging floats, and there will be – you need to come watch the parade because I understand there's going to be lots of nice, good floats coming this year.
When is the parade?
And 5:30 Friday night. And the weather is forecast to be really nice. I know we just went through this Thanksgiving holiday and this past weekend with rainy and dreary, but we're supposed to be really nice this weekend, and so it's going to warm up a little bit. And so come on down and watch the parade and see what they put together in the floats. I'm expecting a lot of interesting floats and maybe some replacements of other things that we've seen, and drive around town as we go forward and see what the business community has come together to do.
Well, what else you got? You got a whole notebook full of papers over here.
Well, it is
more we need to talk about.
The first Tuesday of the month is the regularly scheduled Baxter County Quorum Court meets at 6 o'clock at the courthouse tonight. And we have a fairly lengthy agenda. But the big thing about December meeting is that the Baxter County's budget for 2016 must be addressed in the December meeting each year for next year. And based upon projected revenues available for appropriation, we have just under $14 million, counting all programs and grants and et cetera, and special set-aside programs, and county general road and bridge and all those. And so we will be addressing a budget tonight, and I had that right here in front of me, Summers, of I bet I tied it in with that other stuff. There it is.
There it is.
Get it all mixed in with this other stuff, and I'm in trouble. We can only appropriate 90% of anticipated revenues, and so we'll be addressing the issues with the court, and it's all spelled out of $13,488,619 budget tonight. That's item number 1, and something we have to address every December.
So you're telling me that this entire county can operate on just under $14 million?
Well, if you go to county general, it's less than 7.7.
That's not bad.
And road and bridge is 4.345 million, because we have some pretty good funding coming in there right now from this half-cent sales taxes the state is collecting. But yeah, we operate the whole county on that. And for the process included in this is we began a program last year to move our step and grade scale to. We moved it 3% last year. We'll move it 2% this year if this budget passes, and hopefully 2% next year. And why we're required to do that is the minimum wage beginning January 1, 2017 is $8.50. When our starting wage for our lowest class position was less than $7.80. And so we have moved it incrementally last year, and then the next 2 years to get it above the $8.50. I think we'll be about $8.56 at that salary schedule to give the employees of the county who have worked for stagnant wages for many years, because the county has not had the money and has not moved the money around and appropriated. It also includes a 2.2% increase in insurance costs, which if we had kept the same insurance plan, we provide health insurance for all of our employees, make it available for their families. We came in to keep the standard policy a 7.5% increase. And this is what's going to get your goat. 4.3% of that 7.5 was due to the Affordable Care Act, and nobody knows where the money is going or what it's affording. But so out of the 7.5, more than half of it was going to an administrative fee for the Affordable Care Act,
which is Obamacare,
which our insurance carrier has to pay. Yes. So we renegotiated and with the insurance company, because we knew that we had this salary increase facing us. We had to move on that, and we changed some deductibles and some co-pays to keep the good insurance and major medical especially, so that we only had a 2.2% increase, and then we could afford to give the 2% raise. But that's in this budget, as well as we operate a jail in this county for less than $1 million. And counties like it operate a jail similar to ours for 50% more than that. And so we have to scrimp at the corners to make this operate.
I wanted to bring to your attention, you're talking about the health care. United Healthcare, well, once I get all this stuff from popping up here, get that. They had somewhere between a 4 and 6% drop
Correct.
in their stock price, not points, percent.
Yeah.
Now that when you have I don't know what the stock value, I'm trying to pull it up here, but even, a 6% drop in your stock hurts, and it says it's considering pulling out of the exchanges.
Yes, it is, and it's one of the major providers, and they are planning on pulling out because it's non-profitable, and that's the way the market works. If it's not profitable, you don't go into the market. It's just business, and you also find they, along with one thing about the Affordable Care Act, it mandates that an insurance carrier for health insurance cannot profit. In other words, their claims have to be 85% of their premiums collected. So they have a 15% operating margin to operate within, and if they go over that, they have to refund the money.
Well, here it says average premium for medium benefit plans offered to a 40-year-old non-smokers will rise 10.1% in 2016. And United Health warned investors that it would reap $425 million less in revenue during the fourth quarter than had previously expected, translating into 26 cents in earnings per share in losses.
Yes. And that's the way the market works. And when you're in a private market, you have to be into it to pay your shareholders or to pay your employees or to pay
so now
whoever.
We go back to that. What was it? 7.something%.
7.5 was what it was going to be.
4.3% goes to pay stuff like this, right?
When that goes to the federal government to pay for administrative fees of the Affordable Care Act, and it's going to be 2.4 or something next year. And there's nothing anybody can do about that right now because that's a federal mandated fee that's been charged. We have skated by without an increase for, I think back even 3 years ago we got a decrease, but because our claims rate has not been, but this year our claims rate came in at 90% of the premiums. Huh. Well, we use a broker. Guess who gets 2.5% of the 3%? And the broker does a fantastic job for us. They keep us up to date and do the negotiating for us with our insurance company, and get us the best rates possible. We call their bluff, we bid it out, or but we have to do certain things to maintain the continual coverage, because that's one of the things. Since the county does not have the highest pay scale, we have to do something to help our employees, and healthcare is one of them. We get a list of the claims, the higher claims that our employees. We had one that was like $88,000 claims paid for one of our employees. Well, that was bankruptcy if we hadn't furnished them insurance. For most of our people, that was medical, yeah, it is, and that's why we want to provide insurance, because they're certainly not making enough money to pay that kind of money out themselves. And it might happen to you or me. We never know who it's going to be, so it's good to have that shelter we have. But that's the big thing on the agenda tonight.
Why don't we go ahead and take this quick break? That way we won't be interrupted when you finish up. Taking a quick break, back with the judge right after this. 7:48. We got about 8 minutes to finish out.
Well, good morning, and it's good to see everybody. The sun's shining, so we must have done something good. Well, it's almost shining.
It was.
I see it on a tree out there. But we're going to have a good week, And we would say if it's springtime, we'd say the grass is going to grow. But it's December 1st, Dale. What happened? My mother, bless her heart, she has a lot of health issues right now. I had it in my speech Wednesday, and they made me take it out. I said I thought there ought to be another holiday in December.
Who made you take it out?
Well, I won't go there because that's private, I guess. But I have a lot of speech critics. I write real good, but they correct my English and all that kind of stuff. They have to. I went to school at Gainesville. Anyway.
You talk Ozark County.
If you don't believe me, ask Lester White. He can explain it to you. But I was going to say I think there ought to be another holiday in December, and it's December 7th because that's my mother's birthday. And we celebrate that. And most people know that as some other day. We blame Pearl Harbor on her because it was her 13th birthday. And we're going to have a big birthday party this weekend for her. And Pleasant, when they get to the age, she'll be 86. And we lost Dad this year, and she has lots of issues right now. And she just lost her last surviving sister-in-law yesterday. So she's the last of that family, of that generation. And so many of us can gather up there and have a big time. But that's the thing we look forward to in December is to go see Mom and wish her happy birthday, and as well as the Christmas and the days off and all the family getting together. I had a wonderful Thanksgiving. How about you? All my kids and grandkids were in the house, and 16 of us, and we just had a big time. It's kind of cloudy, but it was warm. It wasn't rainy. We just had a big time. Oh, man.
Yeah.
I think I had to throw the scales away. But it's
the best thing about Thanksgiving Day after dinner? The Cowboys lost.
Cowboys. Did the Cowboys play?
Not really.
That's a good question.
I saw some tweets on that. Something about
think of the lottery pick. We're going after the lottery pick now. We're right where we need to be.
What was that tweet? Interception number 3.
That may be like I was telling my wife about something the other day, and she said, well, you don't have a lot of work to do because they've done that themselves.
That's right.
So you don't have to go for the lottery pick. They're already there. They may have some competition. But we continue to divide everybody out for Quorum Court. We do have 11 items on their agenda tonight, most of them housekeeping besides the budget. But we have some people that have raised money that we asphalted their roads, and they helped us pay for the asphalt.
Really?
And yes, and this is the second one of this larger this year that we've been able to do. So a lot of good things done in a road department this year.
So we're ready for winter.
We got our snow plows. We work on them year round and think we got everything. And we're putting more big trucks out this year. We tried that last year when we replaced a couple of our dump trucks and made snow plows out of them, and it was a very successful endeavor. So we're going to try that, add to that. We got 2 more new dump trucks this year, so we're converting them out. It gives us on these long hauls. We have. It's like going to Lakeview, and we have a lot of city streets type and the edge of Lakeview that's our responsibility. And we send one of our 1-ton dump snow plows out there that just go anywhere. They're old military trucks. It takes you about 20 minutes on those hills to blade and to spread, and then you got to drive back to the shop to get more mix, and you're an hour and 20 minutes just travel time just to get there and back. So you spend a third of your time cleaning roads and 2/3 of your time trying to get more material to get out there to keep the roads being slick. So that's going to help us in that.
Too bad we couldn't afford a substation out there.
We have discussed that. We have discussed it with the different cities. And it may be something we can do in the future because of the last 3 winters that we've experienced. We think it would really be helpful. But, yeah, that is something we have looked at, we have been talking about. But the bigger trucks will help with that to some degree. And there's a resolution on there besides the housekeeping, budget items, et cetera, to the Pendergrass Rural Fire Protection District is going after a GIF grant. We have usually try to have 1 or 2 or more of them a month on this thing, to get some new turnout gear, and there is some money out there. We recently this year we got a $297,000 grant for turnouts for 4 fire departments. So we support that with resolution and with letters.
in general improvement, right?
Yeah.
When you say GI,
general improvement funds, that's state monies. This one comes through rural services. They either come through rural services department, corporation, or through the Northwest Arkansas Economic Development District, and they apply for these funds, and we support them. Try to keep them upgraded because the need to keep the turnouts. You don't buy many turnouts for $25,000, and because they're expensive if you buy them new. And now the Fire Academy requires that if your turnouts are more than 10 years old by the date code on them, you cannot bring them into the Fire Academy to train with. You have to have 10-year or newer turnouts, which is difficult for volunteer fire departments because they don't replace turnouts. They don't have that great a need for them. But when they need them to work. So they're in the process of trying to upgrade them, and we want to support all that because it's an important part of our community.
And when we talk about fire departments, David Gist was here from Cotter, talking about some fundraising. Support these fire departments. Clark Ridge has a lot of fundraisers. Buford, Norfolk.
You know how much my pie budget is going to fire departments? And I mentioned Kelly was here from the Christian Academy. They had a fundraiser and pie supper, and that new cake pan was expensive that my wife wanted.
Well, the next day Kristen Story walked in and said, I didn't even scratch my nose during that.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people leave. Well, there's no use us stay. We can afford this.
I was one.
And I was determined I'm going to leave her with one of them.
What did you get that pie for? $110?
$150.
$150.
But it was a cake pan. She said, I need a new glass cake pan. We picked one out. There was somebody had brought this strawberry rhubarb cobbler, and it had the crumb,
Yeah.
And it was in that real nice, had handles on it, glass cake pan, and I hate to treat those people that way, but I had to buy something, and she wanted a cake pan, and that's what I bought. But yeah, that's what I wrote the check for. But that's cheap. That's cheaper than what some of the pie suppers I go to. I've got a lot. Holiday pies are easy to come by. Just go to my freezer.
Final minute.
Oh, well, it's good, and appreciate the year and everybody's support and all the kudos. It makes me feel proud of the people that sent me to do this job and the thousands of people. And I've got calls and support and emails and letters and cards from people all around the country. But the thousands of people that have supported us through the efforts of things that we have done, especially on this federal lawsuit that went through, didn't turn out as we wished. But appreciate their support and kind words and their efforts now to go and support what they wish to do. But it's been a good year, and for the vast part, the majority of the public has been very kind to us, and we try to address their issues, and we will continue to do that.
I want to encourage any business to join the competition with the nativity scene. You can win $1,000, $500 to charity, and $500 you can keep or give back to charity. If we win it, we're going to give it all away.
Yeah, they have, throughout a lot of the communication stated this. They have stated, it's a private business. You can do what you want to. It's a private home. Do it because, folks, that's the next thing they're coming after.
You bet. That wraps it up. Thanks, our county judge, for being here. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.